everybody. We are the Highwaymen. My name's Jason.
Hello, everybody. And I'm Steve.
And today we are asking the question, are we actually free?
It's a huge question, Jay.
John Inman was free.
Oh, he was. I'm free.
Yes, Mr. Humphries, is he free? I'm free.
Bless him. He's probably the last person that was.
Probably. So it's a question I think about, actually. Are we actually free? And I personally don't believe that we are. I think we are in a perpetual cycle of servitude.
Hugely. Absolutely hugely. And it perhaps goes a little bit deeper than you might think. We did one of these a couple of weeks back now. We were talking about monogamy, I think it was. And I was saying, well, you know, our genes, our makeup as a Homo sapien is everything inside of you screams to basically procreate and make as many little Jasons and as many little Steves as is possible to do so. The church invented marriage and monogamy, if you like. This is kind of where it stems from, to keep you in your place, to keep you, there you are. This is what you're supposed to do. You are supposed to get married. You're supposed to have 2.4 kids. It's now probably 8.9 kids. I don't know. You're meant to have at least 2 cars. You're meant to have your house. You're meant to constantly strive for a newer TV. You're meant to be able to do it, to keep you working on the treadmill. So
I don't think the church is getting you to have 2 cars and a television. It's not in the Bible. No, I think you're
I don't know.
You're misinformed.
I tell you now, Moses came down the hill in his triumph. It says so.
He had a motorcycle, yeah.
So he had at least one, and he might have had a Norton, but they were motorbikes, I think. But anyway, and why do they want you to do that? So that you can keep working. And when you're working, as we mentioned in the last video, you're paying tax, and they know where you are and what you're doing. This is why they detest people that go and live off grid. They detest people that dare to go and do something a little bit different. Jay, we're not free. We are bound by such constraints within our social network that's been created by people to ensure that you stay in your place, my boy.
Well, I think it starts at school. I mean, you know, I was thinking, you know, when you're a child, you go to school, your parents tell you to go to school, you have to go to school. It's law to go to school. You can't not go to school. And when you're at school,
I beg to differ.
Go on.
No, you can be homeschooled.
Yes.
You don't have to go to a school, but as long as your parents
you have to be educated.
Tutoring,
yes, you have to be educated.
Yeah.
So we go to school, and once you're at school, you know, I mean, I know for some people at school was horrendous, but you don't have any choice really. You know, your parents make you to go to school. You go to school, and there you're kind of primed into leaving school and going to work and being to contribute to society. And so then for us, we left. I mean, I'm sure you're the same as me. Left school at 16, straight into a job, where you then go to work and pay tax, because you've got to leave home, buy a house, do all the things that you're supposed to do to kind of carry on in society. And I kind of think, you know, you can't just go and live in a field somewhere and decide to live off the land, because every animal that is running around belongs to somebody, even though it doesn't. Every bit of land belongs to somebody, because at some point they've claimed it. And I think if you go back thousands and thousands of years, when literally, you know, you had been a little settlement, and you know, there was no physical structure of land. All you would say is, this is our land. And if somebody else came along, someone had a child, would, you know, build them another cabin or a tent or what, you know, whatever people would live in back those days. And but even then they would have to contribute. But you couldn't just go off. You can't just go off anywhere and live and be completely free. It's about living off grid. that you can't do that without money, because you've still got to buy the property that you're going to live on in the first place. So you have to become part of the system. So, you know, there's certain rules that you can follow. We talked in the last video about having road tax and a television license. You know, you can't even have a television in this country without a license to own it. And so there are so many constraints that actually being properly free. I mean, we have levels of freedom, but I don't believe anybody is actually free.
100% with you, Jay. I am absolutely 100%. Just very quickly to clarify on the TV license, it's called a license, but we have to buy one every year, and it is basically a tax, but it's dressed up to be called a license. Same as a dog.
Is it? No, we don't have dog license anymore. We used to.
Oh no, we don't, do we?
No, they got abandoned. But yeah, if you had a dog, you had to have a license to have a dog, which is, you know, strange.
Ridiculous. So are we free? No, I've tried it. I have genuinely tried it. So when we first went to France, that's the closest I've been to it, to be honest with you. When we first went over there, and we had the derelict place that we were doing up whilst we were doing it and everything else. It's a lot more liberal there. People are a lot more easygoing. And I think the other thing over here is everybody is so, I won't say wrapped up in their own work. I don't think anyone is truly happy in this country. No. I really don't. So everyone is so wallowing in their own misery. If they see somebody else and they think, well, why should they get away with that? In the blink of an eye, they would be reported to the authorities, just in case they're having more fun and a better time than they are.
I think we're very much kind of geared to success. You know, possessions of success. You know, if you've got a bigger house, you're more successful. If you've got a bigger car, you're more successful. One of my friends, he said he worked in sales for years, and he said whenever I met anybody that I used to work with, the question was, what car are you driving now? Because that was the measure of how successful you were in the world. And I actually say to anybody, you know, the measure of your success is how happy you are. You know, I love it when people say to me, I love my job, I love going to work. It's very rare you find that, because you spend such a huge part of your life at work. I think if you're finding something you're really passionate about, whether it's well paid or not, if you enjoy your work and, you know, you're in a happy relationship with somebody that you love, and you like where you live, then you're successful. That doesn't mean you've got to be living in the biggest house, you know, and have the biggest car and all the rest of it. But if you've got happiness in your life, then believe me, you have got success. Because there are people with a lot of money who are piss poor as far as success is concerned, because they don't have other things. They don't have stable marriages or relationships and friends and all the other things that make people successful. That's my take on success.
Incredibly wise words, mate. Absolutely spot on the money as well. And I think it's a sad fact of life that it's only when you get to a certain age and you've chased the quids. I mean, we've both, and you then realise what genuinely is important in life, and what you know, what does matter when it all comes down to it. So very wise words and quite true. I've got to say, you know, I do love my job at the minute. I love it, what I'm doing at this moment in time. But you're right, to be able to say that is quite rare, isn't it?
Yeah.
So are we free?
No.
And there's no way of getting away from it either.
No.
I've tried. As I say, I've tried. You know, we moved up to Orkney. People that watch our channel here a lot will know this. So I moved up to Orkney in a bid to try and discover or find, you know, a more communal way of living, I suppose. I mean, it wasn't a kibbutz or a commune or anything like that. It was you had your own house, and it was an island, you know, and all the other bits and pieces. But it was even more compounded up there, because everybody was so desperate to scrabble for the few quid that was up there. It made it even worse. So that was a rather sad finding, if I'm brutally honest. So rather than everybody, you know, looking after each other, it doesn't matter if you haven't got a pot to piss in, it doesn't matter what Well, it did. It did matter. No one cared what car you drove there or anything like that. But there you are. So are we free? No. Maybe that's something to look forward to when we die. Who knows?
Who knows what the next life holds? Anything more to add on that one there, mate?
No, I don't think so. We are still looking for freedom, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. And unless you, I think if you were to perhaps, win the lottery or be, a trust fund kid, then you've probably got freedom, really, haven't you? But other than that, thing is, you need money to survive in this world. You need money to have any amount of freedom. If you've got so much money that you don't have to go to work, you have got a lot more. Money is freedom. Unfortunately, most people, even if you're on the wealthier spectrum of the life that we know, still have to keep funding that. They keep having to top it up. You've still got to go to work to make sure you might have 10 holidays a year, but you've still got to go to work so you can afford those 10 holidays a year. So you are still trapped on that little wheel.
Absolutely. And again, after 2 years, well, I've got to change my car now. It's old now.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
2 years old. Well, it's working. You are in it. You're trapped in it.
Yes.
So hence having to. Well, I now need another 40 grand for that. I now need this. I now need that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. We don't need half of the thing. So we talked about this before. I was like clothes. I've got enough clothes probably for 3 lifetimes in my wardrobes. I look at the back of me now, I've got little ornaments and stuff like that. I don't need any of that. I bought stuff. I don't need that. That doesn't enhance my life. It looks really nice when I walk in here, but I don't need any of it. What do we need? I don't know. Anyway, we'll leave that one there, mate. No, we both decided we're not free. We agree with that. Let us know what you think. We'd like to hear your
please
comments.
do.
Do you feel free? If you feel free, tell us the secret. We want to know.
I think I've solved it. No underpants.
That's very freeing. Especially with a kilt. Especially with a kilt. It's very freeing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, everyone. Good to see you.